On the banks of the Allegheny in downtown Pittsburgh, tonight's match presented by Allegheny Health Network. It's the Riverhounds, unbeaten in the last 12, facing a Detroit club that has not won in its last 5. With former Manchester United keeper Gary Bailey, I'm Michael Watring. Come in and stay a while with us here this evening as we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. Pittsburgh, after a good result on the road at Lou City, is back to the top of the Eastern Conference table. Detroit, meanwhile, they sit in 10th, but still within striking distance of a playoff spot. And Gary, Bob Lilly said that this matchup against Detroit is always a challenging one, and that is evident by what has happened when these teams have played over the last 4 times.
Yep, 4 draws in those 4 matches, so it's never been easy for them, but this is a different season for Pittsburgh. They're sitting at the top of the table. Detroit have lost a lot of players at the start of this year and not quite as strong as they were last year, but those 2 draws last year in 2022, the same goal scorers in each of those matches in the same order, Albert Dikwa and Maxi Rodriguez, and they're both playing today.
We'll see if we can solve the riddle that is these two sides in their series history, with one of the two getting 3 points tonight. And if it will be Pittsburgh, it'll be Albert Dikwa. He's the 3rd player under Bob Lilly with back-to-back double-digit goal-scoring seasons.
Yeah, joint top USL goal scorer with 10, along with Manuel Arteaga from Phoenix Rising, and he's been out for nearly a month with a shoulder problem, so good to see him back. He's back, and what does he do? Goes and scores the winner at Lou City.
Detroit, on the other side, has really struggled to score goals. They have the fewest in the league this year, but the addition of Dario Suarez had that great cracker from midfield on Wednesday.
Yeah, incredible goal against Loudon. It was from the halfway line, saw the goalkeeper off the line, and what direction, what power. And he nearly got a winner at the end with an overhead kick that the keeper did well to save. So he has brought a bit of a spark. That's what Coach Trevor James says. They need more goals. Maybe this is the man to provide it for Detroit.
Pittsburgh have given up just 1 goal in the last 724 minutes. Can Detroit break through on the road, or does Pittsburgh make it 13 straight unbeaten? Starting 11s and the kickoff coming your way from Highmark Stadium next.
At AHN, we see you when everything's going great, and when that's not the case at all. We see you needing expert care every single day, and excited for all that's to come. At AHN, we see you.
Oh, things just got really gusty.
You got that right. Sweet kite. Is that a dragon?
It's a dinosaur.
I really like yours, too.
Of course, the new scratch-off from the PA lottery.
That's right. $1 million cash fall.
With top prizes of...
Wow, $1 million.
I guess things really are looking up.
It'll blow you away. Keep on scratching.
You want top quality roofing?
Replacing a roof isn't just shingles. It's a complete engineered system. Being Pittsburgh's #1 platinum preferred roofing replacement company, we offer free estimates from one of the most trusted and well-trained teams in the industry. With over 40 years in the business, JP Roofing is efficient and complete most roofing jobs in just 1 day.
If you're looking to get your roof replaced, hire JP Roofing and Siding. Quality long remembered at a fair price.
Okay, this is really happening. We're going to the Museum of Play. Do I start in the video game arcade, go to the aquarium, play superhero, or visit Sesame Street? What about the train? Legos, spaceships, giant puppets. We're not even out of the driveway and I'm already freaking out. Ah!
With so much to do and see, everyone loves the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Tonight's starting lineups are presented by Armina Stone, and Pittsburgh, Bob Lilly. Boy, did he shuffle the deck tonight.
Yeah, 7 changes. Easy to tell you who stays in the side. Danny Rivero, Ordonez, Griffin, and Dikwa are the 4 that stay. Jamali Wade back from international duty. Zamudio returns to DC United. The lineup is a sort of 5-3 with Forbes at the top of the 3 and the 2 strikers up front. So quite attacking to have Kiza and Dikwa both as your main strikers.
Trevor James on the other side had to make a couple changes, not as many as Bob Lilly, but 3 for his side.
Yeah, in come Dominic Gasso, Richard Ballard, and Brett Levi's. Out go Matt Lewis injured, Reese Williams and Ben Morris to the bench. That's sort of a 3-5-2-ish sort of shape as well. Your sitting midfielders might be the likes of Gasso. I expect Maxi Rodriguez to push forward a little bit. And very important for Levi's and Ballard as wingbacks to get up and down for Trevor James.
Well, Trevor James said that he wanted Detroit to be a little more aggressive and push against Pittsburgh. They'll be able to do that here this evening against one of the stingiest teams in the league. 12 goals allowed this season. Gerald Flores is our referee. You can see the rain is falling here in Pittsburgh here on a Saturday evening to kick off a night of 8 matches in the USL Championship. Here we go for the 3rd time in league play between Detroit and Pittsburgh. Michael Watring, Gary Bailey, excited to watch this one. 2 very fine defensive teams this year. You look at a Detroit side, you look at their record, they have more losses this year than they did at any point last season, an early foul whistle. But they've been in every single match with the exception of 1. They've played 9 games in which they've lost by 1 goal.
Yeah, they're a very tough side defensively. A 4th best defensive record in the entire USL. Problem is they're struggling to score goals as we have a look. Long ball played up and free kick given away. Late clash in the back. I don't think there's any doubts about that. Coming in there from Mike DeShields. So yeah, 2 very good defensive sides. 1 very good attacking side in Pittsburgh. Detroit, well, they need to find the goals, and you just wonder, as you mentioned at the beginning, is Dario Suarez the piece of the jigsaw that will make that happen for Le Rouge?
The last team to leave Highmark Stadium with a win was San Antonio last October. That was a 1-0 decision. This year, 6 wins, 3 draws, giving up just 4 goals.
That's spectacular stats, and they beat an MLS team in the cup at home as well. So, you know, Bob Lilly, the job he does, and I've said it more than once. You know, he lost Cicerone, one of his top strikers, Alex Dixon, the other one, who are both challenging for the USL Top Striker Award this year. And then Albert Dikwa steps up and scores a ton of goals, and the rest of the team all contribute. It's a brilliant stewardship of the team from Bob Lilly, and every manager we talk to, including Trevor James, says they are so well organized. Bob Lilly has every player knowing what he has to do, and he makes these changes, like 7 changes in this game, and still they seem to be coordinated.
He admitted against Lou City on Wednesday that the team got off to a slow start. First 15-20 minutes without a shot attempt. And then Albert Dikwa in the second half had the eventual game winner in the 68th minute. Can they replicate this success? A team that has not lost in league action since April 22nd. Scoring chances could be at a premium here this evening, but despite the lack of goals for Detroit, they had a run of 7 consecutive games with at least 10 shots until the match against Loudoun on Wednesday. And that match against Loudoun, they very easily could have escaped with a victory. 1-1 late in that match. Loudoun picked up a red card. Dario Suarez had what nearly was an even better goal than what he had earlier in the match on a bicycle attempt in stoppage time that was stopped.
Yeah, and yet having watched a lot of that game, they were on the back foot most of it, Detroit, even though they were at home. Loudoun dominated first 60, 70 or so minutes, and yes, they did come strong at the end, Detroit City, but again, not the dominant side they were last season. And I think it's tough on Trevor James. They almost outperformed themselves last year. He was a nominee for manager of the season, and I guess the fans are expecting something similar this year. And having lost 3 or 4 key players, It's turned out to be a much more different season. And I guess teams also now know what they're capable of, and it's not, oh, this is a new team, Detroit City, you know, we should beat them. Now, this is a tough side, Detroit City. We're going to have to work really hard to beat them, and so they're not the surprise team they were last year.
Weather today looks like the weather you encountered a lot in Manchester.
Yeah, a normal day in Manchester is a rainy day.
I guess maybe a little warmer here, though.
Yes, a touch warmer in summer, but we just hope that the heavy thunderstorm clouds stay away and we get a full 90 minutes game here today.
Flick on, Dikwa giving chase. He scored in the first half in both matchups last season against Detroit. Rivera not sending it in. Both of these teams playing 3 times over an 8-day window with the midweek matches. Dikwa accelerates. Failing. Steinwasser comes out. He juggles it. Empty cage, but it is cleared away. Steinwasser, one of the best in the league last year plus. This ball clipped in. Dikwa! Just wide. Had space at the top of the 6. That was nearly another goal for Dikwa.
Ever so close. Good ball in, and Dikwa just with the faintest of touches. But look at this ball. Placed there. Dikwa gets the header. Steinwasser's off his line. He was committed. So if he gets a full contact on that, Dikwa, every chance he hits the back of the net. And that's the danger with Pittsburgh. Such good balls into the box. Such dangerous strikers there. And a little bit of a warning again for Detroit City. They're going to have to be strong in defense to limit these chances to the Riverhounds.
That moment leads into the keys of the game, brought to you by Premium Light Lager that embodies all things black and gold. Bob Lilly wants a better start to the first half.
Yeah, interesting. In just 7 of the 19 games this season have they scored in the first half. So they're generally a second half side. He wants them to be a full 90-minute side. And then for Detroit, they want to create chances in the front foot. Their expected goals in their last match, for example, against Loudoun at home was just .41. That's not enough. It's one thing, you know, it's 2 things. First, you've got to create the chances, which clearly the expected goals tells you they haven't done. And then Trevor James says, and then of course we've got to finish them off. But the first thing is to create them, and they're hoping to do so in this match against Pittsburgh.
There was a stretch in this season where it looked like Detroit was figuring things out. Started with a road win, 1-0 against San Antonio. They beat Birmingham right after that. The signs are there for this Detroit side. Trevor James saying, you have to show this Pittsburgh side that you can be dangerous, try to create those chances, be on the front foot. One comes up the sideline. A lot of congestion over there, and Dikwa gets it back. Shields, really a lot of resistance. Kizza! And there is that lightning quick start that Bob Lilly wanted. Pittsburgh 1, Detroit 0.
Fantastic strike there from Edward Kizza. Gets the ball, turns, rifles it into the back of the net. But what a pass. And I mean, first couple of minutes already, Steinwasser's been so busy. Balls flashing past his goal, and that one ends up in the back of the goal. Great to see Edward Kizza scoring. That's his 3rd of the season. But the way they move it across the back, the Shields on the ball here, his head up, he's looking, where are my options? He looks for the quick transition straight to Edward Kizza. You can't allow him to get the ball and turn in the box there, so question marks about the defending. I think it's Michael Bryant who gets turned there. You've got to be tighter and you've got to be goal side. He wasn't, and Edward Kizza punished them.
It's the 3rd time this season that Detroit has allowed a goal in the opening 10 minutes of a match. Give up a quick one. It's his first goal since May 20th when he had a brace against Las Vegas.
Well, the keys to the match from Bob Lilly was score in the first half, and they've done that. So no doubt the manager will be very happy. The coach, with the way things have started for the Riverhounds.
Yeah, Bob Lilly said that they're not shying away from the fact that they need to create more chances. And that Lou City match on Wednesday, it took them a while to get into that game. Unfortunate to walk away with the 3 points. There's Detroit back on the front foot. That ball always out. Jamali Waite back in the lineup after being with Jamaica in the Gold Cup. Luis Zamudio, boy, did he have a nice impact on loan from DC United. 4 clean sheets in 5 matches.
Yeah, that was a very, very good loan deal that Pittsburgh Riverhounds did, because Zamudio, as you say, was really excellent. And the deal was that as soon as Jamali Waite's in, he'll go back, which he has done. But he was solid. Sometimes you bring in players and slot them in, especially goalkeepers, doesn't always fit in, but Zamudio was excellent for Bob Lilly.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus here, live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM 157 and the SXM app.
Good high pressure there from the Riverhounds, forcing Nate Steinwasher to have to knock the ball long. This is what I expect to see. Now Trevor James has got a problem because they're going to press up high. Riverhounds are going to put his defense under pressure, and his team are going to try and play through that press and get at the Riverhounds defense. Not many teams have been able to do that this year. They certainly have limited the expected goals. Bob Lilly's side, last 4 matches, no team has got above 1 goal expected against the Riverhounds. So they really are good at blocking you from getting anywhere near the goal.
Detroit asking for a handball, and they will get the whistle after a moment. Flores had to confirm. Think about this with Detroit. They are 0-10 this year when they concede the opening goal.
Well, that's not good news for their fans who are watching. But stats are there to be changed. And this is one of their best opportunities. They're not going to be able to dribble through easily against this defense, but set pieces, get it in the mix, get the big guys in, and see if you can get a knockdown or even a goal.
Here's this cross in. Pittsburgh always so stout defensively. Second ball was won, but Pittsburgh clears it away.
Mensah, just looking at him, he'll need a good game today. He gave away the penalty in a draw against Loudon, and that was frustrating. They were 1-0 up, and he just made a tackle just inside the box. He didn't need to make, and as soon as he made it, he dropped to his knees, saw the referee point to the spot, and that was tucked away by Tommy Williamson, and that was the draw in that match.
It's a Detroit side that has given up 1 out of every 5 goals this year have been a PK goal allowed. 4 of them on the year.
But just to correct myself, Zach Ryan scored the penalty. It was Williamson who was tripped up. But when you're in that situation where you need points desperately and you're 1-0 up, the last thing you want to do is give a side a penalty. And as you say, they're giving plenty away this season.
Trevor James summed it up by saying, we're missing chances at one end and making silly errors at the other.
It's been a tough few games. You know what? It's also been late goals against New Mexico, 0-0 until the 82nd minute, and Trevor James saw his team go down. And FC Tulsa was even worse. 89th minute was the winner there. So just when you think you've got yourself a point, dying seconds, you give up a goal, and it's been a frustrating time for the players and coaching staff of Detroit City. Le Rouge.
It's a team that has given up 3 goals out of the last 4 that they've allowed in the 82nd minute or later.
Wow. And yet all they have to do is get into the playoffs, and then the system allows you to recover, and if you hit a good streak of form. So there's hope for Detroit City fans. It's just getting into that top 8. They're not far away, but they need some results, and this one clearly not going their way as yet.
Is giving chase. Steinwasser will dive after it. And that's what's fascinating about the Eastern Conference. There's such a jumble at the top for that #1 position. Pittsburgh entering the day 1 game clear of Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay have a game in hand at that point. But when you look toward the bottom of the table, Birmingham in 6th right now isn't necessarily pulling away from everybody else. FC Tulsa, Indy, Loudoun, despite all of their struggles this year, is just a point off the playoff pace here in July.
Well, maybe the good thing for Detroit, even if they don't get a result here, and it's still early days, and we're not saying Pittsburgh are going to win, but it's a tough ask. But they have, after today, they have 6 of the next 8 at home at Keyworth, and that they've got to turn that into a fortress. You know, Loudoun was a result they should have won.
Matthews decides to take a shot. Still loose in the 18 before swept away. Suarez was the intended target. Now the flag up for offside.
Just to finish that thought, of 6 or 8 at home, if you make Keyworth the sort of hard place to go and play, which it was last season, it was a fearsome place to go. If the fans get behind the side and they get some points, they could find themselves comfortably in the top 8, 6 of the next 8 at home.
The way that the year ends as well, you have teams that you're jockeying for position with in the league. Hartford, Indy, Loudoun. Right at the end of the year, and a couple of those are at home. Certainly that door is open for Detroit, but I think the biggest thing that every coach around the league right now is asking themselves is, how do you penetrate this Pittsburgh defense, having given up just 1 goal in nearly the last 750 minutes? And the Riverhounds doing just enough in the attack to come away with wins. '17th minute of action. Riverhounds lead it on the Edward Kizza goal in the 8th minute, 1-0. With Gary Bailey and our entire crew, I'm Michael Watring, watching this one with you on a Saturday. Hope you're having a nice night.
Brought to you by All About Fun, providing everything you need to create birthday memories of your own.
Headed in the wrong direction. It was giving chase. That ball goes out for a corner. The Riverhounds get their first of the evening.
Hey, Riverhounds fans.
Also a threat on set pieces. A number of goals, or a number of games rather, they've won this year. Ordonez, I think it was 3 games running that he scored from set pieces, and a couple of games ago, Osumanu, again it was against San Diego, gets one in the dying moments also. Their far post headers, so Detroit City, beware.
Failing strikes just over the head of a pair of Riverhounds. Rivera sends the second ball in. Steinwasser got up. Who touched it last? Is there a foul? Detroit making that argument. Steinwasser down, Dequa in there as well.
Oh, it looks like all 3 got hit, but Steinwasser doing so well here. The goalkeeper gets the touch that puts it away from danger. Good ball in from Rivera. Look at them, they all go for it, but the goalkeeper gets the all-important touch. There he goes, hand on it, and then they all collide after that.
Levi's in a tough spot for Detroit, right in the middle of that pack. Just trying to get out of the way. There will be a foul on Pittsburgh and a free kick coming, but that just shows the danger that can happen.
There's some good crosses coming in from out on that left-hand side. Mike DeShields for the goal, Danny Rivera. They really are asking questions of the Detroit City defense.
shots so far officially logged in this match. Only been in the box once.
Again, credit to the squad because it's constantly rotated by Bob Lilly. I think he gives them all a rest, and they know they're going to get a day off here and there. Kenny Forbes, King Kenny, missing the last match, given a rest himself. And so with 7 changes, you would think on paper, well, that's a lot of changes. Are they going to be dysfunctional? Well, so far they haven't been.
Ordonez comes back to save the day. Pittsburgh right back on the attack. Flag is up here, though, on Dikwa. You mentioned those changers. Junior Etu was terrific in that Lou City match. He had a breakaway opportunity. And really one of the first potent moments for Pittsburgh. And then the assist on the Dikwa goal. And he's not even available for selection in this match.
Robbie Mertz, I thought he had a very good game against Lou City. He's not playing. Hogan came in, Blackstock came in, Osumanu in defense. They're out, given a rest. So I think most coaches will tell you if you change more than 2 or 3 players, it can cause problems with understanding. But Bob Lilly has this squad so well trained that they mix and match game after game, and they retain their structure, their competencies. It's a very impressive, and that's not coming from me. I think that's a lot of the coaches we've spoken to when they play Pittsburgh. They all give Bob Lilly huge credit for what he's been able to do with the Riverhounds, especially this season.
There's a free kick coming up. Into the box, nodded back. For the second time on a free kick. Detroit going in reverse. Flag staying down here. Foul whistled, and Farrell sweeps it away. Back on the attack. Forbes sneaks it out wide. Dikwa making the run. Second ball from Failing. Dikwa does get that header. Never had a chance of really angling it on frame, but Pittsburgh certainly much more aggressive in the attack in this match.
Yeah, again, most of it coming down that left-hand side, but then they recycle it down the right. Once the ball comes over the top, very quick to push up, get the ball and knock it back in the box. If you're a defender for Detroit City, you've got a lot of work to do. You're dealing with crosses from one side and the other side. You're having high pressure situations where the strikers are closing you down when they get the ball. It's going to be a tough afternoon if they keep this pressure up, Riverhounds. Tough afternoon for the Detroit City defense.
Detroit asking for a foul. Flores says there wasn't anything.
Smoke-free and vape-free facility. For the safety and consideration of all of our guests, we ask for your full cooperation. Thank you for
Pittsburgh 12 matches unbeaten. The longest in club history. You have to go back to the USL Pro League days in 2004. Wade punched that instead of catching it. Left some space open there. Levi's sends it out.
Wasn't a bad idea from Levi's. The keeper was off his line. Very difficult one to hit straight back in because it's coming at you quickly and skipping off the wet turf. And he has a swing and doesn't get it on target. But I think the idea was good. Jamali Waite possibly could have caught that one and made life a little bit easier for himself.
But to finish that thought, 15 in a row unbeaten to end that 2004 campaign is the club record. Kizza. Steinwasher pokes it away. Dikwa trying to get to the second ball. Not be able to win it. Detroit finding it a hard path right now to find some goal-scoring chances. Everybody heading this ball. Mensah pushes it forward.
What I'm not seeing from Detroit City is the midfield of Ballard and Connor Rutz and Levi's, Dominic Gasso. I'm not seeing them doing much. Maxi Rodriguez has had the odd moment, but they need to get control. If they want to do well in this match, you would think they need to get some control in midfield. That hasn't happened yet. You can see these balls get played long, and it's Pittsburgh Riverhounds who win it and get possession almost every time.
Here is Danny Griffin. Here's a long distance shot from Forbes, and Steinwasser had it measured the entire way.
Comfortable one for Steinwasser. Jamali Waite with the long ball. Flicked on, and the shot coming in from Kizan, and decent save from Steinwasser. One of the better goalkeepers in the USL, an accountant by trade. Clever guy and very sensible to have some skill to fall back on when the football days are over, which now that he's 30, probably not too far distant, but really good reflex keeper, brave as can be, and a vital part of their success last year and even their survival this year. Without him, they'd be in all sorts of trouble.
Fourth in the league, entering the match tonight. 55 saves on the year. He's got 5 clean sheets as well. Was third in the league last year in clean sheets.
Fans, to commemorate our historic 2023 U.S. Open Cup victory over Columbus Crew here at Highmark Stadium, we are offering a very limited run of prints and posters. You can purchase a poster at our team store or pre-order a framed print autographed by the 2023 squad and coaching staff by visiting the merchandise
Rutz
on the concourse.
Heading to the sideline for a little wardrobe change. So 86. Now we'll have to make that adjustment. In the box this ball goes, failing. Well, smart play to just get that ball away. Had blood on that last jersey, so he'll be a number 86 the rest of the way.
Here's the example of the high press, forces the long ball, and then let's see who sweeps it up once again. Riverhounds. So this is an area in which Detroit City will have to improve. Brett Levi's a good chance for the 30-year-old to use his experience to see if he can start to control some of that ball in midfield.
Pittsburgh had been in control since the start. Comes in with a foul, and Detroit will get a free kick, and gives us a chance to remind you the Women's World Cup kicks off July 20th. Play along with the Women's World Cup and the Soccer Bracket Challenge presented by the USL Super League. Win super cool prizes, including a new 75-inch Hisense TV. The bracket launches on Monday. Go to uslsuperleague.com/bracket to learn more.
I can't wait for that to start. There'll be some fantastic games. A funny feeling Sophia Smith could make herself an international name. Not that she isn't already, but an even bigger international name. What a talent she is up front for Portland Thorns. And can't wait to see her in action during the World Cup for the USA.
Yeah, it's a very young U.S. squad. Of course, you have those players that you expect to be there. Listen there, you have Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, but as you mentioned, some very youthful players. Trinity Rodman had the brace in the friendly against Wales on Sunday. Smith set her up on one of those. The US gets underway on Friday night. Suarez back to goal. Line for Levi's. In the box this goes. Things get tangled up. And a goal kick coming.
Ballard a little bit incensed there, but again, very difficult for a referee to see what's going on. Gerald Flores, body's go to the ground. It's not like you have VAR and you can slow it down and see who's pushing and who's doing what. I think that's probably what the referee's explaining is, look, if I don't see it, I can't give it. Dario Suarez plays it out wide. Ball comes in from Levi's. Have a look at the back. There does seem to be a little bit of an arm on his shoulder, Ballard, but you know, you got to see a pull really to give a penalty. You can't just give it on the fact that there was an arm on the shoulder. So a different way of seeing the game. For those who watch European games with VAR, for referees in this situation, a lot more difficult to give those calls.
Suarez goes through the legs of a defender. But handled well at the end of it all. That ball hit very hard. And not an easy play here for Steinwasser. Dequa. At the half-hour mark of this match, Pittsburgh with a 1-0 edge. Edward Kiz's goal in the 8th minute. Now the Riverhounds eyeing a 13 consecutive match unbeaten and a rise to the top of the Eastern Conference table. Michael Watring, Gary Bailey watching it with you here on a Saturday.
Edward Kiza made a great run there. Just thought Dequa could have played it a bit earlier, played him into the space. Weren't quite on the same wavelength there.
Slut. Steinwasser will be able to pick this ball up.
Again, important after all the defending. It's very tiring for the Detroit City players. You want to now get your foot on the ball and let Pittsburgh chase you, but let's see if they're able to gather it.
You bring in a player like Dario Suarez to this group, you expect him to be a focal point, but Pittsburgh has neutralized that goal-scoring threat. They've had 29 goals over the last couple of years with FC Tulsa.
See, there are little passes like that when you've got possession in a dangerous area, just not finding each other, DCFC. They've got a chance here to push up high, have a high press against Pittsburgh Riverhound and see if you can get some turnover ball in a dangerous area.
Walking around, nobody getting open, and now Suarez, target. This is better from Detroit. Wade handles the deflected pass.
Question marks about an elbow in the face. That's what they're suggesting, the Riverhounds defenders, to the referee. Again, very difficult for Gerald Flores to see exactly what happens off the ball when he's watching the goalkeeper catch it. Maybe just a warning saying, I didn't exactly see what went down, but be careful, because if you do something wrong and I see you, then you're going to be in trouble.
Both coaches talked about how much of a battle it has been to play these teams before, and it started in the first 30 seconds with a little bit of pushing and shoving, and it has not settled down since the opening kickoff.
They're both physical sides. You know you're going to get that from Pittsburgh and Detroit City, also tough players, tough defenders. These are two teams that have good defensive records because they're committed. And Bob Lilly wouldn't expect anything less from his side, and neither would Trevor James. So yeah, expect the bumps and bruises when these two collide.
Lilly said that you can't look past this Detroit side. Feels like they have more wins in the bank and can't have it tonight. You have to find a way to break them down. The onus is on Pittsburgh to win the match. Shots are 4-2 in favor of the Riverhounds. Game's lone goal.
Yeah, the shots are in favor of them, but the crosses, I don't know if the stats are available, but there's been a ton of crosses coming on from Pittsburgh. There's been one or two more recently from DCFC, but earlier on they were coming in from the left mostly and causing all sorts of problems for the Detroit defense.
Pittsburgh 7-4 leaders in crosses right now. Here's Failing, and another cross whipped in. Steinwasser, no problem with this one.
Failing, a chance to impress, and difficult to get in the team regularly at Pittsburgh, so there are players like Mike DeShields as well as Berg Failing who will be really keen to impress Bob Lilly today and put their hands up for a more regular starting berth in this Riverhounds side. Zvetsler would be another one who'll be looking to impress as well. Also hasn't had a lot of starts for the Riverhounds.
It'll be fascinating with the bench as well. You have Tola Shawunmi, who filled in nicely for Albert Dikwa, and then the newly acquired Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. Forbes. Great read by Steinwasser.
Once again, goalkeeper quick off his line, brave, down at the feet. He has been such an important player for DCFC over these last 1.5 seasons in the USL. Well, you mentioned Juan Obregon. That's a very interesting signing. He was playing, was it in Honduras? He had moved across there from the USL, and they plucked him out from there. So I don't know whether he's 100% fit or not, but clearly a quality player if he's at his best.
Lilly said he's been training for the last 10 days after arriving July 3rd. He was going to be ready to roll against Lou City had they needed a goal, but Dikwa scored in the 68th minute. Subs needed to be changed to represent holding on to that 1-0 edge. A team that just hasn't played with a lot of two forwards on the pitch at the same time, and Kenardo Forbes is going to be shown the first yellow for either side of the match.
It wasn't a bad tackle, I don't think. Let's have a look at it again. You know, it's definitely a free kick, no question about it, but is it worthy of a yellow? Maybe it's for repeated infringements, but elbow, shoulders coming together, maybe a little bit of a hand, and he tries very hard not to sort of fall on him, and Kenardo Forbes probably saying, well, if that's the standard for a yellow card, then there's going to be a ton of them in this match.
Forbes has seen a boatload of action, closing in on 250 career USL Championship apps. Tonight's number 248. Free kick lofting outside of the box. Once again, Detroit really unable to do anything with the set piece. One or two touches and the ball right back to midfield.
This is a bit nicer from DCFC, just getting some time on the ball, getting a touch, knocking it about. Riverhounds have decided not to do the high press, to wait at the halfway line instead, which gives the visitors some time on the ball.
That's a good thought. Rivera had it tracked the entire way, and it snuck just to the right side of the flag, so it's a throw-in and not a goal kick.
It's not a bad option for DCFC to push all those white shirts in there and see if you can box in the Riverhounds. And once again, the plan being to get turnover ball just on the edge of the Pittsburgh box.
Work out because they get the ball right back. Can they do something with it? Suarez the closest to that pass from Levi's.
I guess Pittsburgh is saying, well, see if you can break us down. You know, we'll try and pick the ball off if you misplace a pass, but we're all organized and it's up to you to see what you can do. And very hard to break down this Riverhounds defense, as many teams have found out this season.
7 clean sheets in the last 8 entering tonight.
Wow. That's a fantastic run. Given how many crazy things happen in soccer and how, you know, balls can easily fly in the back of the net, long-range shots, errors, whatever, to have that many clean sheets is superb performance by the Riverhounds.
Really the only team that has had any kind of success in the league this season. Monterey Bay, that was on May 5th, scoring twice. That game ended in a 2-2 draw. Paso had 2 goals back in April in that 2-0 win, the last time that Pittsburgh didn't get at least a point in a match.
What's interesting, in Bob Lilly's entire tenure at Riverhounds, what is it, running into sort of 5-6 years, his team have conceded 0.91 goals per game. I mean, that's less than a goal a game over that entire period. So this is not just a one-off. His teams are very, very well organized and always have been very hard to break down.
Tonight, match number 188 under Lilly. So, yeah, the fact that you're not scoring multiple goals against this Pittsburgh side through all the changes in terms of the roster, the turnover, the years, extremely impressive. And this is one of the more impressive seasons. Mike's Beer Bar isn't only the home to the famous steak on a stone, but it is also the official watch party location of your Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Meet at Mike's. Does Detroit have any kind of attacking presence in them in the final 5 minutes of the first half? Will it be Pittsburgh yet again going into the halftime with the lead?
Another wayward pass from DCFC. Yazid Matthews has been quiet, he hasn't done much. Had a little chance there to do something on the right-hand side, and it all fizzled out. Dario Suarez, likewise, haven't seen much of him. And again, I look to the midfield, don't blame them. I look to the players behind them, Richard Ballard, Connor Rutt's got to do more. Levi's has had a few little moments here. Dominic Gasso's been quiet. They've got to get more on the ball, which, to be fair, last 10 minutes they have looked a little bit more involved in midfield.
Flag up for offside here. A team with just 2 shots, none on target so far. Despite 60% of the possession.
Possession doesn't mean that much these days. It's what you do with it. And to me, I would almost only look at possession in the opponent's half, because possession in your half is meaningless. It's only when you're in the opponent's half, or even probably the final third, that possession becomes really important.
Touches in the final are in the opposition box. Is that a stat?
Yeah, that's a good stat, yeah.
5-4 in favor of Detroit right now.
Wow.
I can't even remember the 5.
Wow, seriously? Are we watching the same game?
Thought he got fouled. Gerald Flores says nothing there. It's been a physical game. One yellow card really on one of the slightest of touches that we've seen in this first half. These sides have struggled to score in the opening half this season, entering with just 7 times this year with goals in the first half of matches. Only Indy 11 has done so more frequently in the league. Pittsburgh have their first half goal. Detroit's trying to do anything just to get a shot attempt. Dikwa. Numbers pushing forward here for Pittsburgh. Failing. Long way to go to get to that ball, and it will be a corner. Second of the match for Pittsburgh. Corners brought to you by Quantum Spirits. Sounding like 1 minute of stoppage time. Pittsburgh trying to punctuate the first half here on the set piece. Fires in the boomerang. Ball punched in. It's headed off the line, but a foul was whistled inside of the box.
It's not a bad effort there from DeShields. Ball coming in from the corner and hits that sort of first time with the inside of his foot. Let's have a look at it again. Failing knocking it far and over the top of most of them. That side foot effort just headed clear, but as you mentioned, already a foul given. Headed clear there by the captain, Stephen Carroll.
This first half has felt very much like what you would expect. At times a defensive slog. Pittsburgh has done what they've done all season long. And that's capitalized on the few chances that they do get.
And keep a clean sheet.
Yep.
They've been doing that well all season.
Only Sacramento have given up fewer goals in the entire championship this year, just 12 of them given up by Pittsburgh. This will undoubtedly be the last few touches of this first half. Mensa across everybody. Check of the watch from Gerald Flores. And there's your first half whistle. 1-0 Pittsburgh on top of the break. Gary, what do you think of how Pittsburgh came out with a strong start?
Yeah, done very, very well. It's been a good first half for them. Keys' goal, good finish. Lovely ball in there from DeShields. Jamali Waite hasn't really had much to do, whereas on the other side, Steinwash has been much the busier keeper, especially first 10-15 minutes. So a lot of work for DCFC to do second half, especially in midfield. But the last 10-15 minutes were better from LaRouge, so hopefully we're set up for a cracking second half.
769 consecutive minutes with just one goal allowed for Pittsburgh. And Edward Kizza, it's the third fastest goal of the season for the Riverhounds. In the 8th minute, 1-0 Pittsburgh on top of Detroit at halftime.
Cheer on the Riverhounds all season long at Mike's Beer Bar, Pittsburgh's home for local beer. With 21 TVs, over 300 local beers, and amazing food, Mike's is the place to be. Tell your friends to meet me at Mike's, Federal Street, right across from PNC Park.
Pittsburgh, stop breathing dirty air and contaminants trapped in your home's air ducts and dryer vents. Call Sears Air Duct and Carpet Cleaning or go to SearsClean.com. Our professionals will clean and disinfect your home's air ducts with powerful high-pressure vacuum equipment that cleans the air your family breathes. We love our pets, but their hair and dander get trapped in your air ducts and their odors in your carpets and on upholstery. Sears can clean it away. Call Sears Air Duct and Carpet Cleaning for a healthier home. Go to SearsClean.com.
Now is the time to be part of the premier Rugby Sevens action. Join rugby's biggest party on Sunday, July 23rd at Highmark Stadium, Pittsburgh. Catch the best professional rugby in the world as both men's and women's teams battle for a spot in the championship. Don't miss our ultimate fan festival experience, starting 1 hour prior to the event and running throughout the day. Enjoy live music, wear a crazy costume, play yard games, have a few drinks, enjoy great food, and so much more. Get your tickets today at pr7s.com and have a ball.
Our halftime report brought to you by Highmark Health, and it's Pittsburgh on top yet again. 1-0 the lead. Back with Gary, I'm Michael, as we take a look at Wednesday night's action in the USL Championship. And it was an early chance for Junior Etsu off of the counterattack. Mark Ibarra also had a chance. That kept it 0-0. It was nip and tuck, back and forth, and then Etsu picked out Dequa, making this run at the 6 to give Pittsburgh that 1-0 win over Lou City.
Yeah, and they were good for the win. After that, they had to defend a little bit, but up until that point, they had the better chances than Lou City. They got back and did the hard work. And this was Jasil Cedeno from a very, very tight angle here, getting it past the keeper into the top corner to give Oakland Roots the lead.
And then Memphis was able to tie it later on. This finish is past Blanchett. That made it 1-1 on the draw on Wednesday evening. Memphis has been in good form, as has Oakland in the final match that we'll look at from Wednesday. How about this strike from Dario Suarez? Unbelievable.
Yeah, but Jackaman gets there, and he gets a full hand to the ball. I'm thinking, well done, the keeper. He just palms it into his net, but vision, and what a great strike from Dario Suarez for his first goal for his new club.
That made it 1-0, and it felt like Detroit was flying at that point. But they concede a penalty. Zach Ryan able to finish it off. That leveled the terms at 1 apiece. And despite Loudoun going down to 10 men, it finished with a 1-1 draw. Here's what's coming up for Pittsburgh, and that'll be a big-time clash coming up at Charleston. Right now, Charleston tied with Miami at the break, and there are a lot of chances here for Pittsburgh to perhaps gain some separation against the top of the table.
Yeah, 4 games at home after that. Indy struggling a bit. Memphis up and down. Tampa Bay Rowdies would be a tough one, but of course their manager's now moved on to go to Barnsley, so they might be a little bit more susceptible there. And Hartford have had a very poor season. So yeah, 4 home matches in which the Riverhounds should be expected to pick up a bunch of points.
Detroit looks like this over their next 5 matches. Lou City, Monterey Bay, at Oakland. Things just continue to be tough here for this Detroit City group.
Yeah, Lou City and Monterey Bays, they can play well. Sometimes you can catch them on a good day or not. At Oakland, won't be easy. Charleston Battery, tough one. Maybe Las Vegas Lights the best chance there for DCFC. But they've got to find a good run, and 4 of those 5 are at home. So come on, Keyworth fans, get down there and support your side.
Pittsburgh have prevented an opponent from scoring for the 13th time this year in the opening half. 1-0 is the advantage at the break. Let's take a look around the USL when we come back here to Highmark Stadium.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Colorado Springs, Enriquez. Header down on third! Jimmy Oxford gets one back for Colorado Springs.
Way on the goal line. A second one finds Twine. And Philip Goodrum in the 89th minute with a potential game-winning goal.
Curses! I've just returned from the Museum of Play. The fairy tale forest, Berenstein Bear Treehouse, superhero universe, it must all be mine! Did you know they have a whole room full of pinball machines? Did you? And that video game arcade? So cool! Oh, I'll be back, Museum of Play!
With so much to do and see, everyone loves the strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
1-0, Pittsburgh leading at halftime here at Highmark Stadium. Michael and Gary back with you to take a look around the rest of the USL right now. And here's your news and notes. We mentioned the Women's World Cup Bracket Challenge. You can sign up for that starting on Monday. The USL is heading to Arkansas. Men's and women's teams, the first in that region. And then coming up in just a couple hours, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr have the USL on ESPN2. Monterey Bay and Oakland Roots starting at 10 o'clock this evening. Your schedule around the USL: Detroit hosting Blue City on Wednesday night to kick things off for match day number 20. FC Tulsa hosting RGV on Friday night. And your Saturday slate, we mentioned that Pittsburgh-Charleston matchup. That'll be a fascinating one on Saturday evening, 7:30 will be the kickoff. And that one, Blue City-Birmingham, also a nice match as well. And Indy 11 try their hand at Tampa Bay on Saturday. Scores from around the USL right now. And Orange County have just scored moments ago. Mark McNulty gets in the scoring column, and Orange County leads 1-0 in the 23rd minute of activities there. Otherwise scoreless in the other matches currently going on. A couple other late games on top of that. ESPN2 matchup, Monterey Bay and Oakland is that ESPN2 contest. FC Tulsa hosting Hartford. El Paso plays host to RGV as well. Gary, anything stick out to you?
Oh, they're all good games, all exciting in one way or another. El Paso, let's see the bottom left there. Excuse me, how they bounce back after their last loss, because they have been in great form.
Here it is a 1-0 edge for Pittsburgh at halftime. First half highlights and stats and the second half kickoff comes your way when we return to Pittsburgh.
Ain't no better feeling than a cold one in my hand. Well, that's why I'll be keeping Iron City in my plans. Oh, everywhere I roam, I'll be thinking about my home. Sitting pouring on the iron right before I go to rest. And when I'm laying in my bed, there's only one thing in my head. Just an ice cold can of Pittsburgh, PA's best.
It's Family Fiesta Night at Highmark Stadium. Join us as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds host Indianapolis on Wednesday, July 26th, and help us celebrate Amo's birthday during Mascot Mania. Tickets start at just $18. Get yours now at riverhounds.com/tickets. That's riverhounds.com/tickets.
Whoa. Oh. Things just got really gusty.
You got that right. Sweet kite. Is that a dragon?
It's a dinosaur.
I really like yours, too.
Of course, the new scratch-off from the PA Lottery.
That's right. $1 million cash fall.
With top prizes of...
Wow, $1 million.
I guess things really are looking up.
It'll blow you away. Keep on scratching.
Sleepovers just aren't what they used to be. A house full of screens, basically no hiccups. You guys have no idea how good you've got it.
Get internet on the Xfinity 10G network for just $25 a month for 12 months, or upgrade to Gig and save $20 a month over Verizon.
Back in my day, it was scary stories and flashlights. We don't get scared. Oh, really? Mom can see your search history. That's what I thought.
The next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity.
1-0 Pittsburgh on top at halftime. Michael and Gary ready to take you through the first half highlights from this matchup. The third in USL Championship play between these two clubs. And in the 6th minute, there was your first real chance for Pittsburgh. They came out with an early barrage.
Yeah, good ball into the box, good cross. That header from Dickwood just goes wide. Doesn't make full contact on that ball. That could very easily have ended up in the back of the net. And then the Shields head up. He's looking. He sees Edward Kieser. And Kieser's able to turn, take the ball turn, and head it all in one move. Absolutely brilliant finish with his left foot. Gives Nate Steinwasser no chance whatsoever, and they're in the lead.
Kieser scoring for the 3rd time this season. And then in the 24th minute, how about this off of a goal kick? A long ball sent down the yard, a tap forward. Kieser putting a shot on.
Yeah, Steinwasser does well just to get down and palm it away. Had that under control, but good flick on here from that long ball from the keeper, from Dikwa. Nice combination between Dikwa and Kieser up front.
And then in added time of the first half, off of a set piece, another chance for Pittsburgh. There was a foul called in the box, but nevertheless, still a good chance for Mike DeShields. And really, in the opening 45 minutes, every chance you can think of came from Pittsburgh. 5 shots, 3 on target. Despite not seeing as much of the ball, they have thoroughly controlled the opening 45.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, again, the shots on target are what really counts, or expected goals you could look at as well. The expected goals is 0.37 for the home side, so nice to get 1 goal from that. But for Detroit City, 0.04. In other words, they just haven't tested Jamali Wade at all. And they had a very low XG at home against Loudoun. It was 0.4 or thereabouts. So back to what Trevor James said to us beforehand. We're not creating enough opportunities.
Pittsburgh tied for the league lead with 9 clean sheets this season. They've only allowed multiple goals twice this year. And that is the hill that Detroit City will try to climb in this second half of play. They've had, entering tonight in their last 4 matches, 20 shots on goal, Detroit has, which is 3 goals. So despite the fact that over their recent run they've been able to get some chances, they just haven't quite been able to score. As we start off half number 2 here at Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, 1-0 the advantage for the Riverhounds, looking to stretch it to a 13th consecutive match unbeaten. The longest streak ever in club history. You have to go back to 2004. They rattled off 15 in a row before falling to the Utah Blitz in the semifinals of the USL Pro Soccer League that season. Michael Watring, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, ready to watch half number 2 with you on a Saturday evening.
Maxi Rodriguez just doing well there to win the foul. Takes the contact with Dikwa, goes down, wins the foul just to calm everything down for DCFC and get them on the front foot.
One note for you, Connor Rutz, who had to swap jerseys, is right back to that number 11. So that is quick work by the laundry team for Detroit. Had some blood on the jersey, had to swap out. And now he's back to his normal number 11 in white. Detroit asking for a foul, but advantage being played until it goes out. And let's see, looks like Gerald Flores is going to bring this back for a free kick. There is Connor Rutz right on cue.
Important second half for Connor Rutz and the rest of the midfield to get a bit more control, as we said, and try and get service to Yazid Matthews and Dario Suarez up front.
Dikwa having a conversation. It looks like there's been a booking as well. Trying to sort out who that one was on. Canaro Forbes, who does have yellow already.
I'm assuming it's Dikwa because he was the one arguing and saying, what did I do and why do I get that? But
number 5, Arturo Ordonez, the guilty party.
Okay, we're hearing it's Arturo Ordonez.
So he picks up the yellow card. Second one against Pittsburgh. And now that sets up a free kick coming. This is the moment Detroit has built up for. Wait coming out, easily controls.
Well taken by Jamali Waite, good goalkeeper. Jamaican international, played in the recent international against St. Kitts and Nevis. You give him that amount of time on the ball, he's going to come and pluck that out the air every single time.
Feels like this year, every button that this Pittsburgh organization has pushed has worked out flawlessly. Edward Kizzy gets the start tonight, he scores. Jamali Waite goes to represent Jamaica. You pick up Luis Zamudio, who gave up 2 goals per match last year with Loudoun. On loan, you get him for 5 matches, 4 clean sheets. Doesn't matter who is out there right now for Pittsburgh after that dynamic run in the Open Cup before falling to the MLS's topside FC Cincinnati at TQL Stadium.
The thing for Bob Lilly and the Riverhounds, they had the likes of Shawunmi on the bench. Remember his back heel against San Diego, what a good finish that was. Marky Barra has been a regular. Robbie Mertz, what a good player he is. Even Juan Obregon, the new signing, they could throw him on at the end. So for Bob Lilly, a bunch of real quality he can bring off the bench, and I presume we'll start to do that in the next sort of 10-15 minutes.
Forbes, his next assist will be the 50th in a Pittsburgh kit.
Interesting, Forbes, second highest number of minutes played in the Pittsburgh side behind Ordonez. So the captain, even in his mid-30s, 35 years of age, has still got plenty of gas in those legs.
Dikwa goes down right on the chalk. He is outside of the box and a free kick coming. Clever play there by Dikwa.
Yep, good place to get a free kick, isn't it? Was probably just waiting and feeling for any contact. Let's have a look here. He waits. And, well, there wasn't much, was there? He goes down almost immediately. There was just a little tiny shove on his back there from Dominic Gasso. This is a dangerous free kick on the edge of the box. You can try and get it under the wall if you want. You can try and get it over, or you can just aim for the goalkeeper side where you will be able to see the goal. But of course, that's where Steinwasser will be stood.
Steinwasser directing traffic. Forbes failing. Svetslut all on top of it. What does Pittsburgh have in the bag of tricks? Failing! Oh, it's spectacular off of the free kick. Riverhounds expand the margin. 2-0.
That's a great strike from Berg Failing. He's hit it so well. Steinwasser hasn't even got close to it. He can give some thanks to Dikwa for winning that free kick right on the edge of the box. It's in a great position, but he hits it fantastically well. I don't know if Nate Steinwasser couldn't see through the wall. Let's have a look at it. This is Dikwa again. Goes down a little bit easily, but the referee gives it. There's enough bodies in that wall. Now let's have a look. Does it go around the wall? It sort of does, but does it like a deflection? It seems that the goalkeeper was going one way and the ball then went the other. Either way, it's hit the back of the net. Berg Failing has put his hands up to Bob Lilly and said, yes, it is a deflection. That's what I thought. He's put his hands up to Bob Lilly and said, hey, include me more often.
Failing scores for the first time since the Open Cup against Maryland on April 25th. It's his second in the championship this year. The 25-year-old from the state of Washington has given Pittsburgh a second goal, and they're just the third team this year to score multiple goals against Detroit. And when Detroit has given up multiple goals, they've come in bunches. 5 against Tampa on May 13th, and 3 against Tulsa on June 30th. Helps to get that deflection, but as I had just mentioned a few moments ago, every button that Pittsburgh pushes is flawless right now. And another great strike with Failing getting a starting nod.
It's important for DCFC to get a goal back soon. just to sort of settle things down and get themselves back in the match, because with a 2-goal gap, if they start chasing this game, Conrado Forbes will start picking them off into the gaps, and things could get a lot worse than 2-0. So if they can get one back soon, they're back in it.
Whipping cross in, he controls it easily. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, the home to the USL La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. It's the 8th time this year that Pittsburgh have scored multiple goals. 6 wins and a draw in the first 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the video board. The following people have won the Second Chance Stadium replica.
Griffin swipes this one away.
If you see your
Forbes, despite slipping, a perfect pass. The first 500 fans in attendance tonight received a Highmark Stadium replica. In fact, a lot of the prepaid parking spaces were sold out hours before kickoff tonight. I mean, you talk about a city that is used to having winners in all of professional sports. They are out in full force yet again here tonight at Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, mountain to climb now for Le Rouge. Just wondering if Trevor James is looking at his bench. He's got 2 players who can score goals, Skarge Simonsen, the Norwegian, and Ben Morris, who has played for Ipswich Town in England. And neither has really been scoring a ton of goals, but you've seen very little from Yacine Matthews and Dario Suarez, so maybe a change up front, some fresh faces, some fresh energy to try and help get DCFC back in this match.
When you look on paper, these 2 sides, at least statistically, fairly even, minus Detroit's inability to score, but entering tonight, Pittsburgh isn't necessarily a high-volume scoring team. The difference, though, Riverhounds advantageous. It's so organized in the back, even on crosses like that, easily handled and not conceding a corner, rather a throw.
Again, they lost some important players at the end of the season. Declan Wynn, for me, was a fantastic player. Pato Fuzz, Hopano, you know, all quality players, and on a limited budget, unable. They brought in Ben Morris, who's had a couple of ACLs, and it's amazing that he's still playing football, but he's only scored 2 goals and in plenty of appearances, so he hasn't really hit the high notes. And the problem is, and Maxi Rodriguez was scoring a lot of goals last season, he hasn't got forward enough. So, you know, bottom line, if you're not scoring goals, even if you have a good defense, if you're not scoring goals, you make life very difficult for yourself.
Kizza gets to the ball. Not a lot of options. Pittsburgh was content with defending. Can anybody solve this Pittsburgh equation? Assuming that this stays steady, or at the very least a draw, it'll be a 13th in a row unbeaten for Pittsburgh. And when was the last time that the Riverhounds felt like they were being pressured and not the team that was in control for long stretches of time? Free kick coming.
Not a lot of contact there, but these days referees are very quick to give free kicks if there's any coming together of players.
Weight comes out despite taking some contact. It's a great catch. Showcasing the arm skill as well.
They're looking for the quick counter attack, but that's what you get when you get a goalkeeper who comes and catches the ball. All the opposition are forward. If he gets a good throw out or kick out, you can have a really effective counter-attack within seconds.
As it went back to Detroit, the visitor is able to push forward again. Forbes. Sweat-Sloot.
This is what Pittsburgh do so well. When they do take a lead, they come back, occupy that final third, deny you space, try and catch you on a quick counter-attack. They're so good in transition, but they know how to soak up pressure. They're not uncomfortable dropping back into this final third. It's going to be up to DCFC to see if they can find a way through this massed Riverhounds defense.
So few teams have done that. The only goal that Pittsburgh has allowed in the last 8 was Adrian Perez on June 24th for San Diego Loyal.
That was a good goal as well. Came in on his left foot and half volleyed from the edge of the box. And by the way, last night against Colorado, scored 1, had 2 assists, and was involved in the other 2 goals in a 5-0 victory. So Adrian Perez in hot form at the moment.
It's a San Diego team that can score with the best of any team in this league, and it would seem fitting to be the team that would score against this Pittsburgh side in the last 8.
And yet they lost it 2-1.
They did.
Goal in the dying moments from the big centre back who's not playing today.
Alal Oshamanu.
And that was after a wonderful little backheel goal just before that from Shwanmi.
Kenny Griffin mishit that ball, called for the violation. We'll get the free kick. That game seemed like it was going to be San Diego on the front foot, and perhaps being able to end that run. Oshamanu scoring that goal in stoppage time held Pittsburgh to the full complement of points.
And I guess anything you can say about Riverhounds that isn't incredibly positive is it all depends on how they play in the playoffs. But they could very well go into the playoffs as the top team in the East with home advantage, which at Highmark Stadium is going to be of great value to them. But that's all I can say to Riverhounds fans is everything is fantastic. It's all going perfectly well, as you say. It's brilliant. But it only really, really takes off when you hit the playoffs.
Winding over the 1 hour mark. Early goals in halves have dictated this performance by Pittsburgh. Kizza in the 8th minute, failing in the 51st minute after a free kick deflected off of a defender. And a 2-0 advantage for the Riverhounds. Forbes thinking. Went down. Flores, as he's done so often tonight when a player's gone down. Waves get up. Advantage will be played. Very little advantage available. It's good dribbling by Matthews, but the Shields pushes it away. First time today, we will get changes. Robbie Mertz and Mark Ibarra are coming on. Sweat-Sloot and Kizza are coming off for Pittsburgh.
We have substitutions.
Here's how things started in the 8th minute.
Yeah, wasn't it a good turn? Given a bit of space there by Michael Bryant to turn there. Kizza. What a good finish, though. Left foot powers that past Steinwasser. And that was crucial to get his team on the front foot. And that's probably Bob Lilly just saying to him, well done. You played a big part in what looks like it's going to be a victory tonight.
Also checking out for Pittsburgh, number 20, Trevor Svetslut.
2-0 the advantage here for Pittsburgh.
23, Mark.
Unbeaten in the last 12. It's the longest since 2019. They lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals 2-1 that season, and to your point, playoff, that was a heartbreaker. Paulo Del Piccolo scored in the 118th minute to prove to have the game winner.
And was it the year before in which they couldn't play because of COVID and they had to lose out?
It was the year after that.
The year after that, sorry. Yes, so I mean, it's just been so many ifs and nearly getting there. Maybe this is a season. This is a season where they finish top, possibly, where they get the home draws, where they can power right through to the final itself. And certainly in what we've seen so far, they look like the best team in the East, and they would deserve it. But there's still a whole chunk of the season left to go.
And very ripe with talent up and down this roster. Mike's Beer Bar is the official watch party location of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Just a reminder that after the game, players will be signing autographs on the field. Stick around to meet the team, presented by King Orthodontics. Pittsburgh's most confident smiles, with locations in Wexford and Bridgeville. Visit them now at kingorthodontics.com.
I'm expecting Trevor James to make a change up front sooner than later because, again, Sid Matthews, Dario Suarez just don't seem to be able to find any joy against that Riverhounds defense.
Pittsburgh have clean sheets in 3 in a row. Looking for a 4th straight. After the tight match against Lou City, both sides had some chances. They had to wait till the 68th minute for Pittsburgh to win it. Quick start. 2-0 advantage for the Riverhounds. In a place in which they've controlled this year. 6 wins, 3 draws in the 9 home matches. Want to watch the action from the field here at Highmark Stadium? If so, make sure to call 412-865-GOAL to reserve the IC Light corner kick suite today.
This is typical Riverhounds, isn't it? They just defend well, almost like strangle you. They're 2-0 up. They defend so well. They drop back into that low block when they need to. They push up when they can. And so far, DCFC just haven't been able to penetrate and test Jamali White at all as yet.
Here's a cross swinging in. Rivera the closest to it. Ballard wins the ball, however. It's been over a half hour since Detroit took its last shot attempt. They have just 2 in the match. Nifty by Rivera. Gives it away with a pass in the midfield. Look like there's perhaps a little bit of space here if Detroit can take advantage. Suarez's pass gets deflected. Amu Mensah. Enough height on that pass in.
There was a little half chance for Amu Mensah. If it had fallen to a striker, the striker's instinct might have been to take a first touch and go forward towards the goal. Instead, he sort of came back out of the box. And they haven't had much joy, and that was a little glimmer there for Le Rouge. Again, I know there's still just over 20 minutes left, but you're 2-0 down. You almost get the sense they need to be pushing harder and creating more opportunities.
Every coach you talk to about Pittsburgh states you're going to get maybe 3 to 5 chances. And those 3 to 5 chances aren't going to be comfortable, but you have to find a way to take advantage when you get those opportunities. And really in the last 30 to 40 minutes, Detroit really haven't had a lot of those opportunities in the box where somebody could have taken a shot like that and to not even walk away with one. Has to be frustrating.
Well, their current XG, expected goal, Detroit 0.04, which basically says they haven't tested Jamali Waite at all. And they have to, I mean, they're 2-0 down. They have to really start doing something different. And again, I'm looking to the bench and thinking maybe that's where it's going to come from. If you're a DCFC fan, you're saying, come on, guys, at least have a go here. If we're going to go down, let's go down with a fight. Let's go down by putting a bit of pressure on Jamali Waite in that goal and testing the goalkeeper.
The Shields cleans it up. Arcing ball in the box. Has to clear it away. This is the most dangerous Detroit have been. Holding on to some possession. Thrown into the box. Nodded back. Here's a shot attempt. It's blocked. Pittsburgh just clears it away.
That's a little bit better from the visitors, putting some pressure on. I think it was Maxi Rodriguez on the edge of the box there, had that shot, and it was well blocked. That's certainly what you want to see more of. If you're supporting the away side, of course. If you're supporting the home side, then you don't want to see that. Maxi Rodriguez, has mentioned him, such a good player, and was nominated in the USL Team of the Week for Week 12. Last season we saw a lot more of him in terms of scoring goals and being successful. This season probably spent more of his time defending, but if they can get him on the front foot on the edge of the box, he has the ability to find the back of the net.
There had been a script written between these two sides. 4 previous meetings, all draws, including both last year, and the script was an Albert Dikwa first half goal, a Maxi Rodriguez equalizer around the 70th minute. This year, however, it's been goals within the first 10 minutes of halves by Pittsburgh and Detroit, just trying to find a couple shot attempts at this juncture.
South Hills and North Fayette.
Let's have a look at that foul again. It's a shoving and pushing and just a foot out. And referee Gerald Flores has done a really good job today. Just blows the whistle. He's kept the lid on everything. There's been nothing really untoward in this match. Bob Liddy still giving instructions there to Danny Rivera.
Well, to find the last Detroit shot, go back to the 23rd minute. Nearly 50 minutes ago, Brett Levi's took that shot. If memory serves, that was the volley attempt that he had that was mishit and it ended up in the bleachers.
Yeah, good to see Joey Farrell get up. But yeah, away from home, DCFC 9 points from a possible 33. So away from Keyworth, they just really haven't been able to get much joy on the road. he's doing the clap with the crowd there, Joey Farrell. A good spell with Phoenix Rising there. 128 appearances. Big part of their incredibly successful years, going back a few years.
Hogan.
He's going to See his shift come to a close as well. Pat Hogan comes on. As Pittsburgh tries to see out the final 20 minutes. As the effort rises to just one goal in nearly the last 800 minutes against Pittsburgh. 85 days since Pittsburgh last lost a match. Over that stretch, they've outscored opponents 18-6.
And some good opponents. Lou City twice, San Diego we mentioned. These are Sac Republic. You know, these are not struggling teams. These are top teams that Bob Lilly's side have dispatched in style.
There's a foul. Ordonez with a shove. What a fascinating year it's been for Detroit. Just a brutal first 2 months where they won just twice in that period. Then they found some rhythm. 5 matches unbeaten with 3 wins from mid-May to mid-June. Looked like the tide was turning. But since they dropped 3 of the last 4. And carries it along, but Ibarra comes over and slides it out.
Ibarra is such a good player in midfield. Times that absolutely perfectly.
Subbing into the game for Detroit
I think we're getting the 2 strikers that we thought were going to come on
Checking out firstly
to make a big difference.
For Dom Gasso, paid into the game number 7, Skaga Simonson.
So Skage Simonson comes in.
92, Dario Suarez.
And Ben Morris is coming in for Dario Suarez. And for the great performance on Wednesday, Suarez mostly quiet tonight.
Yeah, hasn't done much at all. They're keeping the big man Yazid Matthews on as a target man. So now they're going to have 3 up front, and it's basically, let's go for it, 15 minutes, and see if we can get back in this game. Doesn't matter if you lose 2-0 or 3-0, really. What you want to do is at least have tried to get something from this match. And that's what Trevor James is attempting to do.
A quarter hour to go. Pittsburgh leads it 2-0. Michael Watring, Gary Bailey settling in for the final 15 minutes. Hope you can too. Perhaps the game might open up here a little bit for Pittsburgh to add a third. Ibarra, though, runs into a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely the risk, but it's a risk worth taking if you're DCFC. If you're going to go down, makes no difference. You get 0 points, but if you can get 1, you're back in this match. And you've got some goal scorers now with Ben Morris on and Skage Simonson alongside Yazid Matthews. It's a really potent attack force if you can get them some service.
It's rolling through the middle. Not getting very far was Ballard. Yet again, charge can mount. Morrow will wait for some reinforcements. Calmly lays it back. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit SelectSportAmerica.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Williams carries this on, and a shot ends up nearly at the top of the bleachers, much to the delight of the fans.
Another sellout this evening. Tonight's official attendance, 5,000.
You need other than the goal scorers, you need those to at least hit target. Reece Williams try and force Jamali Waite into a save, or maybe an error, it bounces off his chest. But again, if you don't hit target, then that makes it so easy for the keeper.
Another sellout here at Highmark Stadium, over 5,000.
At midnight tonight.
And they've seen their team do what they've done all year long, and that's a quality match. 13 minutes away, plus stoppage time from a 7th win in 10 tries here at home.
And the other 3 were draws, by the way. Fantastic home record.
It's 10 consecutive unbeaten at home, all told, dating back to the loss to San Antonio. Here's an opportunity, and it's a good slide tackle from Hogan. He had to get that right, otherwise there was a 1v1 situation.
Yeah, good little touch on Yazid Matthews. Nearly in with the shot, and you're right, fantastic defending, perfect timing from Hogan. Again, doesn't matter who comes onto this pitch, they all seem to do a job for Bob Lilly. Very impressive. A little bit like a stuck record here.
Corner kicks brought to you by Quantum Spirits.
Keep saying good things about Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but you can't not. They're sitting top of the table, unbeaten at home in 10, and all these runs and all these clean sheets. It's you'd be a little bit silly not to say these good things about them. They have been fantastic this season.
Even when there's a glimmer of space,
Ladies and gentlemen,
substitute Hogan comes over,
game, which is on July
cleans it up.
26th. That's a week from this coming Wednesday.
Well, it's better from DCFC. I mean, he didn't get through Yazid Matthews, but he was close. That's why I got a high five there from Skarge Simonsen. It's like, yeah, okay, this is the right idea. Let's keep going, DCFC. Maybe we'll get the breakthrough.
And watch the USA women's team take on the Netherlands in the World Cup. Get your tickets online at riverhounds.com/tickets.
So here's your corner kick, first of the night for Detroit. Only black and yellow jerseys there. Probably the last team you want to fall behind in the USL Championship is Pittsburgh. There, more than comfortable defending and seeing this one out.
Jamali Wade just going to ground, just buy up a few seconds, get his team to push forward, and from now on it's in-game management. 10 minutes to go, you've got a 2-goal lead, you're at home. You would expect the Riverhounds just to start playing more and more possession football and just try and work the clock down as best they can.
Williams sends it in. He was waiting for that second ball. That's the most pressure that's been applied, but it's still been nearly a complete hour since the last official shot attempt by Detroit. Ibarra forces the issue. Comes away with a steal, but Dikwa sends it out. That was the last touch by him. So Detroit will make a change. Adrian Billhart, last year's League One Comeback Player of the Year, is replacing Yazid Matthews.
Checking out of match number 27, Yazid Matthews. And into the match, number 19, Adrian Billhart.
Last match for Billhart, just 5 minutes against Charleston Battery, so he hasn't had a lot of football for DCFC recently. Let's see if he can be the impact player that they're hoping to get.
Scored 5 goals with Tormenta last year. Detroit. It's a swarm of defenders. He doesn't strike that ball where he wanted to, but it does work out for a goal kick. And the Riverhounds are going to make a couple changes. Tolo Showunmi is coming onto the field, and we're going to see the first of Juan Obregon Jr. in a Pittsburgh uniform, as well as Dikwa and Canardo Forbes are coming out.
Number 9, Albert Dikwa.
Applause for Dikwa. A decent game and had a fantastic season, but it's not like they get any weaker, Riverhounds. Showunmi's had some fantastic goals and good performances. Juan Obregon, we look forward to seeing how fit he is. Last time we saw him in the USL was with Hartford.
And checking in for Pittsburgh, number 29.
Double-digit goal scorer 2 years ago with Hartford, scoring 10 in 2021. No foul whistled, and there have been a lot of players that have fallen to the surface without a whistle as Waite comes off of his line to sweep that one out. Detroit just looking to get anything out of this match. Officially been an hour since the last shot attempt. Just 2 in the match.
Yeah, it goes back to what Trevor James says. It just says we're not creating enough chances. And I mean, there's no better proof than that. If you can't get a shot on target, then you're not going to have any chances.
Ball punched in. It's well defended there by Rivera. And Waite comes to climb the ladder and fall on it.
Well, it's the first little half chance for DCFC in the box there. Nearly managed to make something of it. In the end, the defense get it away, but that's the first real chance we think, oh, something might happen here for Trevor James and his side.
A NorCal rivalry takes center stage when the USL on ESPN continues. Alex Dixon leads a potent Monterey Bay FC attack against Paul Blanchette and a staunch Oakland Roots SC. It's Monterey Bay and Oakland Roots coming up in just about an hour. Kickoff 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go here. And Showunmi with his first touch. He dials one up, maybe a step later than he would have liked, and it's a comfortable save for Steinwasser.
Yeah, didn't quite catch it that well, and he had Juan Obregon Jr. just to his left. He could have played him in. You can see the body language of Juan Obregon Jr. He was quite disappointed he didn't get the ball because he was in a great position to get behind the defense and get a shot on target. And no doubt he would have loved to have started his first match with a goal, as you always do, especially as a striker at a new club.
It's funny, we talked to Bob Lilly about his team's goal-scoring presence and some of these forwards that they've brought in, and he said there haven't been a lot of matches this year where we've played 2 forwards on the field at the same time, yet pretty much the entire time tonight they have done that with Dikwa and Kizza starting the match, and now Showunmi and Obregon Jr. out there.
And they probably feel that they can dominate the DCFC midfield, and that's why they can afford the extra striker up front. And clearly with a 2-0 lead so far, then Bob Lilly's decision has been proven correct.
Heard your name called. Please report to the customer service table at this time and claim your second chance.
Ball played in. The shot takes a ricochet and hits the crossbar. And then punched out. And by far the best chance for Detroit. 63 minutes since the last shot. And Ballard nearly got a good bounce.
It's a great strike, isn't it, to hit the crossbar. I don't know if it takes a deflection on the way or not, and they just can't quite get it at the far post either. I'm sure the DCFC fans are saying, well, why did it take till the 87th minute to get a decent shot on goal? And I guess the answer is because Pittsburgh haven't let them until now. Now they're taking a few risks, got an extra striker up front with Billhart, who might have been the one who hit that. Couldn't quite clearly see.
That could have certainly made these final few minutes interesting. Despite the challenges in the attack for Detroit. Found a little bit of something here as that ball sent high and out by Simonson.
Again, not on target. As a former goalkeeper, I say this time and time again, if you want to keep sticking it over the crossbar, that's fine by me, because I got no work to do. If you get it on target, there's always the chance the goalkeeper makes an error. Last night for Colorado Springs, first 10 minutes, Christian Herrera let 2 slip through his hands. It happens, even to the top keepers, it happens. So get it on target and you got a chance. If you don't hit target, clearly, you've got no chance.
Obergon was trying to funnel that ball forward for Shawunmi. Foul whistled. Shawunmi and Rivera on top. If this score line holds, it would be just the second time this year that Detroit have lost by multiple goals. 9 of the first 10 losses this season by 1 goal, and 8 of those by 1-0 margins. The only team to win by multiple, Tampa Bay on May 13th, that was a 5-1.
And to be fair, the second goal they conceded was unlucky. It was a free kick. It takes a wicked deflection, and that's why Nate Steinwasser was wrong-footed. But you have to get those free kicks on the edge of the box to get that bit of luck, and that's what DCFC haven't done. They haven't created opportunities in the box. They haven't put the Pittsburgh Riverhound defenders under much pressure.
It's been a match that really hasn't seen a lot of chances created. You're talking about 2 teams that have combined for just 18 touches inside of the opposition's box. And that rain that had been pelting this area throughout the first half and really the first 60 to 75 minutes is into a quality sunset. Obergon whistled for the foul.
And what you have to say about chances created and touches in the box is that the moment Pittsburgh go into a 2-0 lead, there really isn't any need for them to be the aggressor. They can just sit back, soak it up. Then it's up to DCFC to try and get forward. So, you know, Riverhounds have done their job. They've got the first goal well taken. They won the free kick, Dikwa, on the edge of the box and got a bit of a lucky deflection for the second. And then basically since then they've controlled the match, defended really well, as they do so superbly. And all of this was 7 changes from the team that beat Lou City midweek. Again, it's just, I mean, it is top class in every sense, and I guess all Riverhounds fans, all they're wanting is that this continues right into the playoffs and right to the final game of the season itself.
4 minutes of stoppage time. What's your assessment on Detroit?
It's going to be a tough season, but there's hope because defensively they're good. And I look at Hartford in the East, and they're giving away a ton of goals. But this is trouble.
What a pass by Shawunmi. Mertz just couldn't get there in time, and it is Adrian Billhart that came back defensively.
Again, just proving the point that defensively they're very good, Detroit. And as you mentioned, only of their last 10 defeats, 9 by 1 goal. They just need to find somebody in attack. Maybe they can have a whip round at Key West, get some extra money and go and pick someone up. Maybe Juan Obregon Jr. gets back to his previous levels of fitness and ability and becomes a striker, or Dario Suarez. But they just need something to happen in attack, because it's been very clear from this match that they are really struggling to put opposing goalkeepers under any pressure whatsoever. Here's that first touch. Robbie Mertz just brings it to his left. If he'd allowed the ball to come on his right foot, he would have kept the defender and the tackle away from him, but wasn't able to do that.
Here's the charge coming. Shawunmi. Shawunmi, another perfect pass. Yet again, Mertz. Just wide, however, this time. Shawunmi with 2 terrific passes.
And they bring quality off the bench. And Robbie Mertz, top midfield player. Shawami, good finisher, good striker awareness. Brings others into play so well. So they don't get any weaker, the Riverhounds, when they make their substitutions.
It'll be a fourth straight shutout for Pittsburgh if they can see out the next 90 seconds, and an 8th in the last 9. The last one to touch, and another corner coming up, brought to you by Quantum Spirits for Detroit as they look to salvage something out of this road match. Here's the corner kick. Amu Mensah back through. Obregon Jr. The only man back there is Steinwasser.
It's a wall, isn't it? It's the Pittsburgh wall. They just cannot get through. Very, very frustrating, but all you can say for LaRouche fans is you're not the only team to come to Highmark and be frustrated. As you said, what was their number of clean sheets again?
8 in the last 9 if they get this one, and they'd reach double figures for the season.
That, I mean, 8 and 9, come on, that's just brilliant defending, brilliant organization, brilliant effort from all the Riverhounds players. As Reese Williams there had a header that just went wide. I think at the end of the day, you just got to give the home side tons of credit, pat them on the back, and DCFC head off and look to the next couple of matches. 6 of the next 8 at home. Keyword Stadium, that's where they've got to go and get their points.
There's your final whistle. It was a brilliant start to the match for Pittsburgh, and now they've given up just 1 goal in the last 814 minutes. A 2-0 dismantling of Detroit.
Bob Lilly, masterclass in defending. Trevor James, I'm sure, will acknowledge that. For DCFC, really struggled to get anything going in attack. That's the short summary of the match, I would reckon.
Let's take a look at tonight's man of the match, presented by Heineken. And Bert Failing, he gets this goal off of the deflection, but he was really good during his shift.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important goal. He put some decent crosses in. He was part of a defense that kept a clean sheet. He doesn't get many minutes, so I think all those things taken into account, he's a worthy man of the match winner.
Pittsburgh, the first team in the championship to reach double-digit clean sheets with number 10 for the year. And they're 8th in the last 9, 4 straight. They get the victory over Detroit City. Gary and I will break this one down with the full-time highlights and stats to wrap things up from Highmark Stadium when we return.
At AHN, we see you juggling 100 things at once. And slowing down, taking in every moment together. We see you finding time for what's important. And realizing when it's time, you don't have to go far.
We gotta go. All right, I got you. I can fast.
At AHN, we see you.
It's Family Fiesta Night at Highmark Stadium. Join us as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds host Indianapolis on Wednesday, July 26th, and help us celebrate Amo's birthday during Mascot Mania. Tickets start at just $18. Get yours now at riverhounds.com/tickets. That's riverhounds.com/tickets.
Pittsburgh makes it 13 in a row unbeaten, the longest string since the 2004 season. A 2-0 win over Detroit. Michael Watron, Gary Bailey tying a bow on tonight's action here from Highmark Stadium. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights here from this evening. Bob Lilly said, I want to see a quick start. Well, Edward Kizza rung the bell in the 9th minute.
Yeah, Mike DeShields is the one who gets the ball here, head up, and sees Edward Kizza, gives him a beautiful ball. Michael Bryant a little bit tight, allows him to turn there, and he turns and finishes fantastically. Brilliant strike there, and they're 1-0 up, gives Steinwasser no chance whatsoever.
Third fastest goal of the season for Pittsburgh. They would continue to get some chances. This one came in the 24th minute off of a goal kick. Kizza again breaking down the back line.
Yeah, Kizza with a decent strike, well saved by Steinwasser. Good flick on from Dikwa from this Jamali Wade long kick. Look at the number 9, gets up, flicks it on, and his strike partner gets a decent strike, but you would expect that save to be made. And then Burke Failing, our man of the match, one of the reasons why, put some good crosses in as well. DeShields has that effort, but there'd already been a foul in the box in that particular move.
Well, it's a quick start to the second half as well after that punctuation mark of the first half. 5 minutes into half number 2, Dikwa wins a free kick, and Failing does really well to at least put that one on frame.
Yeah, it just comes off the head, I think, of Maxi Rodriguez there and gives Steinwasser no chance whatsoever. And Dikwa won that free kick on the edge of the box, so credit to Albert Dikwa as well.
So here's the final look at the statistics in this one. Detroit, 0 shots on target, but that's been what a lot of teams have dealt with this Pittsburgh side.
Yeah, but it's been a common theme for Detroit throughout the year, and you've got to have shots on target. You've got to do better in front of goals. They know that. Trevor James told us that's what he's looking for, but so far he hasn't found anyone up front who can be a regular goal scorer. But I think it was very clear tonight that they're a good side defensively, DCFC, but in attack they are really struggling. And against Pittsburgh, it was very clear they couldn't break down the top team in the East.
Pittsburgh, 458 minutes without conceding a goal. 4 straight clean sheets, the longest since 2020, and they win it 2-0. It's 13 in a row unbeaten for the top team in the East. 2-0. Pittsburgh wins it. For my partner Gary Bailey and our entire crew on this Saturday evening, I'm Michael Wattrang saying so long, everybody. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.